That was my light bulb moment for wanting to start BlockFi. Just like every other asset class in the world needs debt and credit solutions for investors, I felt that the cryptocurrency asset class was going to need that. Before we officially partnered up, I had the idea for BlockFi that came from personal investing that I was doing in the cryptocurrency market. I started investing in Bitcoin in 2014 and Ethereum in 2016. And at the end of 2016, early 2017, I was feeling really proud of myself because the price had started going up. So I was applying for a loan with a bank to buy an investment property. And I put Bitcoin and Ethereum on the financial statement that I submitted to the bank. And not only did the bank come back and say, well, these assets we don't think are worth anything, they put me through extra compliance checks and almost accused me of being involved in some illicit activity of some kind, even though I had a good job and W-2 income and all of that stuff. That was my light bulb moment for wanting to start BlockFi. Just like every other asset class in the world needs debt and credit solutions for investors, I felt that the cryptocurrency asset class was going to need that. And I told you, Flori, about this idea in the early fall of 2017.
I think it's crazy to think that that's just a little over 3 years ago, because today we have 340 employees and close to $3 billion in assets under management. So it's insane to think that it's just been 3 years. But at the time, I was working at an online lender that made loans to small businesses, and that company was getting acquired by Goldman Sachs. So the day before we sat down to talk about BlockFi, I had actually gotten the offer from Goldman, and I was pretty sure I was gonna go there. And when I woke up that morning, I did have, I stopped for a second. I don't know if I ever told you this. And I was like, should I really go meet with Zach and talk about this crypto idea?
Talk about Bitcoin?
Yeah, exactly. I have to go all the way downtown. And I was like, yeah, screw it. Let's go sit down. And you started to tell me about how we could bridge the worlds of traditional finance and crypto. I was really intrigued by the idea of being able to bring what we both knew, which was our expertise and knowledge of traditional financial systems, and to build it in a space where I don't think there were many people like you and I that were building financial products for blockchain systems. But I think we saw back then that if we did this right, we could one day bring financial services for one price to clients anywhere in the world. And that's kind of close to where we're at today. One thing that I love about crypto and that we've done really well is to use the fact that for the first time in history, we can onboard a client anywhere in the world without having to use a partner bank. And they have access to stable coins, which I know you've always been excited about since the beginning, and you've been calling the fact that this is really what changes the game for citizens in other countries.
One of the things that attracted me to the space originally was this idea that you can move value and money around in the crypto ecosystem, same way you move information around on the internet. And that's incredibly powerful. Bitcoin has achieved this store of value component really well in emerging and developing markets where their currencies are more inflationary than the US dollar is currently. And stablecoins enable the distribution of dollars at a global scale, which simply hasn't been possible before. If you're just an average person, oftentimes your access to that market is restricted or limited, and oftentimes that meant the best solution was to get your hands on a $100 bill however you could and shove it under your mattress. And what stablecoins enable is for folks to digitally access dollars and then be able to do things with them, whether that's payments or earning interest or buying other goods and services on the internet without the same restrictions that used to exist. And stablecoins and companies like BlockFi are creating accessibility that simply wasn't possible using the traditional system, and that's really powerful.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that without really actively marketing in any other country, over 30% of our clients are non-US. And I think that speaks to the need for financial services.
The first product that we launched was our loan product, which enables someone to borrow dollars secured by the value of their cryptocurrency portfolio. I knew that there was a lot of demand for this because I was someone who wanted it. One of the tools that is very frequently leveraged by wealth management firms and investment advisors in traditional markets for their clients is to facilitate the use of borrowing against an asset rather than selling it to optimize your tax position. And also, especially, which is true for a lot of folks that are investing in Bitcoin, if you believe that the price of the asset is going to be even higher in the future, you're still bullish on it, why would you want to sell? You'd rather never sell. So I think there's a lot of life scenarios. Your husband found out how much your Bitcoin's worth, and he says he wants to buy a new truck, and you're really smart, and you know that you shouldn't sell your Bitcoin right now because there's all this great stuff happening. The price is going to be higher in the future. What if you got a loan secured by the value of your Bitcoin to, purchase that truck for your husband, who's very fortunate to be married to you because you bought Bitcoin? This loan product is something that we felt was going to bring investing in cryptocurrency closer to being on par with investing in traditional assets, whether that's stocks or bonds or real estate.
I was thinking back on like the two things from the loan product that led us into the interest account. For the first time in history, we were able to bridge crypto assets for traditional institutional investors. So we were the first company to set up a special purpose vehicle to finance the loans. And we started to make these assets, I think, appetizing for traditional investors who maybe were having a hard time understanding how to get involved with the space. And then the second reason why we launched the interest account was because clients started paying off their loans and just leaving their crypto with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And we needed to return the assets back to them, but clients started to ask us to basically help them figure out what to do with their crypto when they weren't using it. That's kind of how we put together the fact that, one, people need a solution for how to put their assets to work when they're not actively trading it and they don't want to store it in cold storage or other solutions. And the second was we had this opportunity to start investing in the relationships that we had built on the institutional side to be able to generate a yield on these assets and potentially flow it back to clients. And back in the beginning of 2019, not many companies were doing that.
Everybody is familiar with earning interest. Everybody's familiar with compound interest. Everyone's familiar with the concept of putting your assets to work for you. And we really made that possible with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with the launch of our interest account.
And then the last product that we launched, trading, came about, well, one, because it's a wonderful product and we should give people access to trade in and out of different cryptocurrencies, but also because we were listening to our clients and we started to pay attention to withdrawals and deposits in and out and in from the platform. And we realized that really the only reason why people were leaving BlockFi was because they were trading. Exactly. So that one was straightforward and also kind of follows the story of us building the hardest product first. I think the biggest difference was how we chose to start the company and building something that is compliance first.
We're the only company that offers an interest rate on cryptocurrencies to retail individuals, that is domiciled and regulated in the US and has the backing of institutional investors with no ICO funding, no token that you have to use on our platform that we're selling to you that offers you better interest rates. We're the only company that has the caliber of team that we have to do the thing that's probably most important and the biggest concern for anyone that's thinking about getting a yield on their cryptocurrency, which is manage the risk. There's really no other platform that has the trustworthiness that BlockFi has and the track record that BlockFi has and the team that BlockFi has of professionals who have done this before in traditional finance or fintech that are dedicated to building it in this new cryptocurrency world. So 3 of our retail products are already live: the interest account, the loans product, and our trading product. Early next year, we're launching our 4th retail-facing product, which is a Bitcoin rewards credit card. The way this card is going to work is You'll spend cash, pay it off in dollars just like you do with a normal credit card, except instead of earning airline miles or regular cash back, the rewards currency is Bitcoin. So you get $250 in Bitcoin just for signing up for the card and spending your first $3,000 on it, and you earn 1.5% Bitcoin cash back on every transaction that you make with the card. We have some incredible partners for this product. It's a Visa card. Evolve Bank is the bank who's partnering with us to bring this to market.
The idea that we're not asking you to give up your cash or your savings to buy Bitcoin, we're asking you to give up your airline miles, which you're probably not using anyway. There aren't any credit cards that exist today that give you the ability to own an asset that can gain value over time.
The Bitcoin Rewards credit card launches in early 2021.
In terms of where we go next in the short term, we're really thinking about people in other countries and how can we make access to payment rails even simpler. A big question for clients is, how do I allocate my assets? How much crypto should I own? And thinking about how we can make those answers simpler for them.
The first thing that I think when I think about what's going to happen in the future is that the Bitcoin price is going to be a lot higher than it is today. I'm still very bullish on this asset class, and I think that other assets have slightly different use cases than Bitcoin, but they're on a similarly positive trajectory. The one besides Bitcoin that I'm most excited about is Ethereum. It powers not only stable coins, which in and of themselves are going to be massive, but also every other kind of major crypto application. Access to this asset class, whether you're an institution or a retail investor, is going to get much easier. It's going to get much more robust, and it's going to look and feel like traditional assets way more than it does today. In terms of BlockFi, what's happening with us in 2021 and 2022 revolves around a few themes. Number one, we're going to continue to diversify our set of products so that we can try and add more value for our clients. So we already touched on the credit card. We plan on launching additional payment products, including a debit card, which will be available in more markets than just the US, including peer-to-peer payments.
I'd love for us to be the Venmo for crypto, where it makes it easy for me to say, oh, hey, we went out to dinner, let's split it. Do you want me to pay you in US dollars or in Bitcoin? What works better for you?
We think, in addition to all the other great work that's happening in the industry, is going to help to create more adoption, and ultimately it's part of what makes us bullish on these assets for next year and beyond.
We have a culture of hard work, teamwork, no job being too small, and we have 4 key values. The first is pragmatic pioneering. We love an alliteration, and that's really about we are innovating in a new space, but we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We need to think about what are the things that exist for a reason, what are the things that should stay the way they are, and let's only innovate when there's a client friction or something that we could do better for our consumers. The second one is transparency builds trust. So that's really about both internally and externally, always communicating clearly, making sure that everybody knows what we're working towards, and really being honest, and that's where doing the right thing when nobody is watching comes in. The third one, which I think is one of your favorites, is clients, not customers. And that one is about really creating world-class client service and treating the people that interact with BlockFi with a level of excellence that they deserve regardless of their account size, and really believing that every single client that interacts with us deserves world-class support. And the fourth value is individual effort, collective success. And that really goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. At BlockFi, we always put the team's success above our own. We also believe that there's no limits to growth, and we always tell everyone on our team that we're always students and sometimes teachers. We can always do better. We can always challenge ourselves to continue growing. It's up to us to really put our best effort in, knowing that we can have an impact on not only the future of our company, but the future of financial products and how people interact with them.